identified for hunters, keeps the hunters off private property and the propertiers near residential areas, and keeps it safe for hikers and bikers that use the trail, since they will not only be potentially caught in a crossfire situation where hunter is on one side and the prey is on the other. Along with this, I also think that hunting should be prohibited in residential neighborhoods, schools, and city parks, which also includes the Butterfield Park and Pavilion facilities. My goal is to allow the hunters to still have the ability to do what they like and also protect the residents and the property living in the beautiful hills surrounding our community. I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just clarify for you, it is already illegal to hunt in residential areas by state law. So if he is hunting on private property, that's illegal. If he's hunting in your house, in your backyard, that's also illegal.
He was on our property from what my neighbor told me. He was actually in a stand.
Would you come back up to the podium? Thank you.
He was on our property. He was actually in a stand of trees that are on the outside or inside the border of our property, but there's no fence line. So, but again, so if we've used the trail that they just constructed, it eliminates all, questions of where they can hunt and where they can't hunt.
Sure.
Now, I understand that the city does own most of that property. However, there are private property pieces up there, and that, they have to cross unless they come down from up top. And I think there were actually 2 hunters up there this morning. I'm not sure if they were on bikes or they were on motorized vehicles, which are supposed to be off limits to that trail anyway.
So we have, we've been actually having quite a bit of discussion on this specific topic among the council last month or so.
Okay.
One of the things that would probably be helpful for us is if you can get with our chief, police chief, for the criminal issue of people hunting on your property, but also get with our parks director, Wendy, over here,
Okay.
who is helping us kind of formulate some of those rules as well, so that we can get that feedback and try to incorporate that as we make those decisions over the next year.
And I know the property above the trail is huge, because I've been up there and I've hiked up there, and there's a lot of land up there that they can hunt. So like I said, using the trail as a marker makes it very simple for a hunter to stay off of the trail, off the area below it.
If they're hunting legally, they know where they're allowed to hunt and where they're not allowed to hunt, and it becomes a law enforcement issue, which is why I say we need to talk to the police department.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. However, there is no markings of where the property boundaries are in the back other than stakes. So, if they come in, early in the morning or at night, they can't see the stakes. And my piece of property is just under an acre right there. And on top of that, my neighbor next to me actually has tilled it out and put gardens in there, and he has little kids in there. So they come up there, early in the evening, especially now when it gets dark a lot sooner. Potentially the grandkids could be put into a crossfire situation.
Yeah, they have to be 600 feet off your property. And they can't hunt on private property. And it is their responsibility to understand where the property lines are. That's the hunter's responsibility. So again, it's a law enforcement issue.
Understand, but again, not to
Sure, I understand
disagree
your
with
point.
you all, but it's a fine line of what they know and what they're willing to do. And if they see a deer coming down, they may chase that deer into the property.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I wouldn't want a deer carcass left on my property either. So
Yeah, so we'll have you work with those 2 individuals, and as more issues come up, please continue to inform us through those 2 individuals, and we'll see what we can do to address the process.
certainly will.
Okay?
Thank
you
you.
very much. Anybody else that would like to make comment at this time? Okay, seeing no other comment, we will go ahead and close the public comment portion of our meeting. Item 7 is our city council board and committee reports. Okay, all right, we're going to get through this. Item 8.1, Safety Award, is going to be addressed by Justin, our operations director, not Ed, who was listed on the agenda. So Justin, please.
Thanks, Mayor and Council. As you can see, we have a awards presentation from the APWA, which is the American Public Works Association. We have a couple of representatives here who would like to present the award, and then we'll have a little discussion afterwards. So we have Brent Ventura and Tyler Shelley from the APWA.
We appreciate being able to be here. We know I've been on that side of the counter before, and it's precious minutes in council meetings, so we appreciate being able to be here. I just want to briefly introduce myself. I'm Brent Ventura, the president of our Utah chapter, APWA, American Public Works Association. Tyler is here as well. He's our president-elect. on our board of directors as well. Just to let you know a little bit, in 1946, this organization was created to represent and to work with all the different public work facets, being water, sewer, roads, engineering, all of those different things. We represent all of them and provide opportunities for enrichment in those areas. We do a lot of development and certification processes and programs, and once a year we get together and have a public works week. And along with that week, we do fundraising for scholarships and also sponsor an awards program. And along with that awards program, we've got about 600 members, and so there's a lot throughout the state, and there's a lot more public works people than that. But we've had during that time period, during that time of year, we have a lot of nominations for these awards. And in particular, we were proud this year to be able to award one of our awards to Harriman. I think we give out six awards to 600 people. And so it's a pretty prestigious thing for one of these people to come back to your community and say, hey, I'm one of those guys. I'm one of the 6. So this year, we're proud to announce, and I'd like to thank you for the time that we have and let Justin do a little highlight on both Travis Dinger and Gunnar Kelch, who we've selected as our 2019 Public Works Safety Award. And Justin can tell you a little bit why they were nominated for that and why we've decided to announce them. Thanks, Justin.
So this isn't new to you. As you all know, that this was presented and actually something that happened through the wintertime. So Travis and Gunnar are working our streets department, and we're out snow plowing. And they noticed one of our residents that was having some concerns and issues, and they had fallen down while shoveling snow in their driveway. And Travis and Gunnar pulled over and wasted no time to jump in and help provide CPR to this gentleman. And in turn, actually ended up saving his life. And so at this time, I'd like Travis and Gunnar to come up, if they wouldn't mind. And so we can present this award. Huh? Well, no, it's fine. So it's
Seems like we should have gotten 2 plaques because it's got 2 names on it, but
I guess we'll take it to the city as a
it's going
whole.
to be a sharing thing this time, I suppose.
So,
They have a table, so. We'll present you guys with this award.
Yep.
And I guess we'll get try to get a picture.
yeah, we'll get a picture, so, yeah. Well, thanks, Travis.
Congratulations. Good work. And thank you.
Oh,
Mayor,
and
council.
we are going to come down and take some pictures. So please stay for just a moment if you would indulge us.
Close enough?
I know I speak on behalf of the council when we, again, express our gratitude and appreciation for all the employees that we have in our city and their willingness to help those in need, whether it be life-saving or just simply getting the snow off the roads. It makes a big difference to our community. Moving on, we will hear Readiness and Environmental Protection Initiative / Army Compatible Use Buffer Funding presentation by Heather Upshar, Economic Development Manager. This is real fun stuff, guys.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. So this is just a quick update to review our ACUB and REPI programs, where we are to date. We started this partnership about 10 years ago. We probably worked 5 years before that, just trying to get the JLUS program, as some of you remember, off the ground. And then we were approved for the ACUB program in 2015. This is a graph it's actually from the DOD, so it just shows the funding from 2003 through 2019. 17 was a good year for us, as you can see on the graph. So the total funds to date is 15.6 million, and we have 1,283 acres. And this represents the acreage that we've purchased, the 1,283 acres.
Heather, as you're moving on, just for the
Yes.
audience that's in attendance, can you quickly explain what the ACUB program is?
Yes, so the ACUB is, it's called the Army Compatible Use Buffer Zone, and that is a program that we work with Camp Williams to protect the Camp Williams base. It's a grant that we receive from the federal government. We are the only city that's a partner. Typically, they are conservation groups. So when we became a partner, it was a pretty big deal that a city would take on that responsibility.
But that has allowed us to secure $15 million in funding and purchase, one more time, how many acres was that?
1,283.
1,283 acres of our mountain that our residents
Correct.
so much enjoy using.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And this map just shows from 2015 to 2019, you can see how we have started to fill in the mountainside. I don't know where the pointer is on this. So the cove, as many of you know where that is, there's a little piece that's hatched towards the top of the cove. It's the Mascaro piece. Do you all know where I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So it's about 48 acres, and we're going under contract with them as well, so. So that is my update. It's pretty short, if you have any questions.
Short presentations are the best.
It makes us happy.
All right, thanks.
This is, I'd like to call out our staff and councils before us for undertaking this. This was not something that I was a part of. You know, it was done before I was, and many of us were here on this board. And it's been a huge benefit to our city, and money that our local taxpayers haven't had to pay for, and we've gotten all sorts of usable land out of it. So it's been a great program. Any discussion by the council on this?
I just want to make a couple of comments. First and foremost, to the efforts of staff. That's no small feat to get to become the only partner city that's part of this, and the ability to secure over $15 million to buy that over almost nearly 1,300 acres that will remain open space for our use, our kids' use, our grandkids' use for years and years to come. That being said, recognize too that the reason that this is in place is to be a buffer and to create that buffer around Camp Williams. And Camp Williams is also a vital partner, not only to us as a city, but to the state as a whole, to protect that base and allow that training to take place there without the encroachment of development, which would have inevitably come in this area. So again, just my thanks to staff for the work that's been put in here.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment, if I can. Try to get the detail about how hard this process is. The money gets funded out of the federal government, but it goes to the Pentagon. They administrate the funds coming through to us. Camp Williams is a partner with Harriman City applying for those grants. So if you miss crossing a T or dotting an I, it gets rejected. And our team here at Harriman, Heather, is a big piece of that, making sure that we do that in a timely manner and very precise document. If you ever dealt with this on this, the federal government on this side, you have to have everything perfect or we fail. I can't say enough about what this also does. There will be no houses that can be built on this property. People don't understand that's simple. It's that simple. Development cannot happen up there. So I commend our team again. It's taken a long road. We're still working hard on it, and we've got more to buy, right?
We'll get there. All right, thank you very much, Heather. We appreciate that. Next, we'll move on to item 8.3, Communication Team Player of the Year presentation. Our City Manager, Brett Wood.
Listen is. Maybe mine's not up there. Mayor and Council want to come before you. Here again, we heard a little bit earlier about some of the team members we have at Harriman City. And as a proud dad or father of the team, it's just kind of always rewarding to me to stand in front of you, because we have individuals that keep getting recognized. And we've had our CFO, our budget process, our streets department for the awards they've done. It goes on day in, day out. But we're very proud this time to present an award that happened down in St. George 2 weeks ago at a PIO conference. And go ahead, go to the next slide. Tammy Moody was nominated as team player. Now, what does that mean by the team player? She's a rough team player, I'll tell you that around here. But what it means is she got the award for, you read that what's on the screen, but this was interesting to me. The PIO conference put this on there. As a team player, for your support as a PIO association supporting PIOs in numerous local incidents, including the line of duty funeral planning for Matt Burchett. Thank you. That's when it hit me home. If you know those who've been involved in planning one of those funerals for one of our fallen, there's a lot of work that goes into that. And to have her nominated as a team player, Tammy, would you come up here? And we got more pictures that she will get mad at us for, but it's okay. Go to the next slide. Working with our home crews here, another slide. This is at the opening of Mountain Ridge, the road, Centennial Road. Next slide. Skate park shut down. That's I know you'll be happy. You don't get to pick the pictures. Next picture. So thank you, Tammy. You've definitely put Harriman on the map. That's her getting her award last week. Nicole, you were down there and you've worked with Tammy and you've helped set some bars out there early on about a PIO and what they mean to a communications team in a city. Can you take a few comments and give Tammy to them and embarrass her a little bit?
So my day job, for those that don't know, is in fact public relations and working in communications. And I've worked in that capacity in municipalities for the last 10 years. So I know of all of the challenges that you have to navigate when you're communicating within a city, the innovation that you really need to put forward, because government is not too terribly exciting all of the time. So you have to find ways to break through the white noise of those that you're trying to communicate with, because it really is vital information. And Tammy has taken that to a new level. All of the PIOs watch what's happening in the various cities. We share that information, getting back to the team player aspect, because we're all trying to elevate the engagement that we have with our residents. Cities, in my view, live and die by the good communications or the poor communications that they have and the transparency that they push out to their residents. And we are certainly in the good category, and I would categorize as one of the very best in the state. And of course, I'm very familiar with what I'm speaking of, so well done. I've looked from afar at some of the things you've done. I've replicated some of those things in cities that I've worked with. I know that we've shared ideas back and forth, and we'll continue to do so in our kind of day job capacities. So well done, and more importantly, she's passionate about it, and that shows in everything that she does.
Any other comment or else you'd like to make?
I'm not going to make any comments. She's too
Stop being
important
embarrassed.
to have her mad at us.
I'm going to. I know how much she enjoys the spotlight, so I'm gonna. One thing you need to know too, as council members, whenever we're tasked with doing an interview with media, it means that Tammy's on the other side of the camera, making sure that we do it just right. We get a lot of this, and a lot of this, some this. She is very, very good at her job, and luckily for me, I'm certainly not going to take any credit for the great things that Tammy's done while she's been here, but I was lucky enough to actually be on the panel that interviewed Tammy when she interviewed for the job, and we may have caught her off guard a little bit in the interview, which we joke about from time to time, and she appreciates that very much. And it's something that we'll be able to, we've actually got it on video, so it's in the archives for years to come. But from the day that Tammy came in to interview for the position to today, her passion has already been mentioned, has not changed. And I will submit that as our communications director here for our city, no offense here, Nicole, it's not done better in another city.
I'd like to amend my previous comments. It is done very well here.
Yes.
It's done well elsewhere.
But the direction that comes from Tammy as our communications director and the team that has been assembled, I think you as residents, as you look at our social media and you look at the things that take place for our activities, it's very easy to see the amount of work and the amount of talent that has been amassed here in the city in regards to communicating. And I think, again, we do it better than any out there. And that starts with the leader of that department. And I appreciate all the work that you do, Tammy, very much.
I too want to say thanks to Tammy, whether it be visiting with you with something personal or professional. You're always an amazing ear and amazing counsel. So I appreciate so much everything that you do, and very much sitting there, exactly what Clint said. Should I say this? Well, maybe you should say it this way. So thank you for some of the counsel to put the right words out there so it reflects well on the city. Thank you for your dedication.
It's not just those interviews and verbal ones. I mean, anything that I write, I send to her and say, what do you think about this? And she's always so good to say, well, maybe you should say this, or maybe approach it this way, instead of just telling me I should scrap it and let her write it for me. So thank you very much. Tammy's awesome.
And right now, I'm looking forward to, as soon as you speak, to telling you that you have to take a picture with us, because you're the one that's always telling us to take pictures. So it's going to happen here in just a minute. So, but do you have anything you want to say first?
I really don't. I just want to say thank you, and of course that I can't do it without my great team, and you guys are the ones who allowed for that to happen. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the tools that you provide for me so that I can do a good job for the city. So thank you.
Tell them no. Go. So Mayor and Council, you're starting to sit down. I just want to take a moment and say, you know, we've had a really good luck in recruiting and bringing on board some phenomenal people. And our culture is very strong in here. And we have people that definitely want to work for your city. They're waiting to come, have an opportunity to come. And your team is strong. And so leading into that, we have another award that me and Tammy will do together. And this is, here again, these are standouts in the state of Utah. This is not easy when you think about 248 blah, blah, blah cities, something like that, or townships. So it's a big task. When you rise to the cream of the top and you get award for it, or by our streets department or our finance department, it's a big deal. It's not a small task. Even though we're considered still small in the big spectrum, we do have rock stars that do rise to the top. So with this, Utah Municipal
Clerk.
because it has the same acronym as Utah City Manager Association. So Clerk Association Recorder of the Year, Jackie. Come on.
So our city recorder, Jackie Nostrom, was awarded the UMCA Recorder of the Year. It's a well-deserved award. Jackie is an exemplary recorder, often offering advice to other cities. She has come into our city and done such a great job of getting us in shape, making sure that we're following everything that we need to do. She's put a lot of procedures in place. Jackie, I got 4 pages. Like, you're pretty incredible.
Front center.
She has an in-depth knowledge of state statute, of city code. Whenever we're referencing an ordinance, she just whips it right off of her head. Like, she just knows it. It's just all in there. I don't even know how she does it. It's so impressive. And that keeps all of us in line, especially when we're discussing things in meetings. She makes sure if we say it's one, she's like, no, that's not which one it was. Or she'll tell you exactly what date it was passed. And I'm looking at her like, where's her notes? Is she using her laptop? Where's she getting all of this? And it's just all right there in her head. It's incredible. She's also started up our passport office, which is very successful. We have had some great success with that. She implemented a new agenda program, which she's very feisty about. She calls them every single time it does not work exactly how we want it to work, and she gives them the business. She is not afraid to have the difficult conversations. She oversees cemetery. She has implemented retention schedules for all of the departments. She developed the policies for record keeping. She oversaw the institution of the vote by mail. Oh, Jackie, I don't even know how many of these things you want me to say. There's so many. No, we're not done. I'm sure Brett has a whole bunch of stuff that he wants to talk about. Mainly, I want to commend her for the knowledge that she has of what she does. There is nothing that Jackie does that she doesn't give 110% to. She's dedicated to every aspect of her work. She is exemplary in her professional and her personal life. And we're just really happy that this award went to her this year. Do you want to add to that?
Of course. I'll pull out my 10 pages. We can go on and on, but I think I want to help you understand a little bit about her. Her work ethic. How many people here understand she drives from the Benjamin area every day to come to work? Not many people know that. She has been tried to go to other cities down in Utah County. She's been offered money. I won't say vacations, it's not right, but she's been offered more money, more benefits to get her to go work for another city and big cities down in Utah County. And what she has told us, our team here, the culture we have here is why she wants to work. She's never leaving us, right?
So you guys have to stay working here as long as I'm here?
Because she likes what she does here. And I think, when you think about driving that long every day, you lose 2 hours every single day. That's in good weather. You get the bad weather, it's longer. And I can tell you, many nights I've worried about her driving home when we left her at midnight in a snowstorm. That's dedication, way above and beyond. She could take the simple road and work for a city that's closer. She took the harder road, travel that distance to work for your fine city. That is dedication.
And we love hearing your infectious laugh.
We'd like to hear from Jackie first.
Oh.
She's got this award. We'll get a picture.
Very pretty.
Pictures.
Yeah, pictures.
I didn't prepare anything. I apologize for that. I guess I would like to thank the council for allowing me to work here. A special thanks to our former mayor, Smith, who made it possible for me to come here. So just special thanks to you. I thank you for the great team that we do have here. I couldn't do it without the support of the council and and staff, and I really do love coming to work here, and, you know, I don't want to go anywhere else. Thank you, guys. Picture time.
I just say, just ask Jackie because she knows everything. That's what I always say. I don't know. Just call Jackie. She knows everything.
No.
Jackie, we're going to take a picture with you, whether you like it or not.
Jackie, thank you for what you do, Jackie. You have done a tremendous amount.
I just want to tell you thanks, Mayor and Council, for allowing us to take this time to recognize a few of our own at this time and some rock stars. So I thank you very much.
And as we move on, I also want to say to Jackie that she is a fantastic member of our team, and I rely on her heavily to make sure I get meetings started on time and recorded and all the things that I'm supposed to do and signing, and she takes care of it. I've got this whole big packet here of things I've got to sign that she's put together for me. She is a fantastic resource to our community, and you are lucky to have her as your city recorder. So she's awesome. Okay, we will move on to item 8.5, South Valley Chamber of Commerce presentation. Greg, here you are. Come on up.
Can I connect to this? Does this work if I do a presentation this way or no? Yeah?
Oh, you're fine.
We'll just have to reboot the server and reconfigure the.
We'll find out. Go for it.
Find out, right?
If not, oh, there it goes. Good. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you tonight. My name is Greg Summerhays. I'm the president of the South Valley Chamber. We represent Sandy City, Draper City, and Riverton City. That's a new development. You may have known us before as the Sandy Chamber of Commerce, which we were known as for over 40 years. But Salt Lake County is a little bit different from some of the other counties. Utah County has really a Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce. Davis County has a Davis County Chamber of Commerce. And Salt Lake County has about 15 chambers of commerce. And maybe back in the day that worked and that model was effective, but as we see now with all the growth we've experienced, our cities run together. Businesses in Harriman want to do business with, and should want to do business with businesses all across the county, the state, and the country, and internationally for that matter. And so we are proposing a sort of different look at chambers of commerce and looking more at regional chambers of commerce. And specifically looking at the South Valley because of all the things that tie us together, growth, infrastructure, transportation, and some of those issues. So I just wanted to present quickly to you guys tonight and share with you a little bit about how we may be similar to some of the chambers of commerce and how we may be different from some of the chambers of commerce in the south end of the valley. So first of all, you may know from chambers of commerce typically do a lot of networking events and trying to bring people together. And we think that that is important and it's a good thing. But there's lots of different ways to network these days, and there's lots of different ways to get to know people. And so we think that a Chamber of Commerce should do more than networking events. But we do many networking events. We're a very active chamber. We do monthly lunches for networking events. We have a women in business group that's very strong and very powerful, attracting anywhere from 75 to 100 women out to a lunch every month. We do some executive forum events, which are for C-suite individuals. We do our In the Know series. This Friday, we have a forum to talk about the Point of the Mountain. Alan Matheson, the new executive director of the Point of the Mountain, will be speaking at that, along with Mayor Troy Walker with Draper City, to talk about what's next for the Point of the Mountain. So we hold those forums on a regular basis. And then we do your typical award ceremonies, small business ceremonies, awards programs, as well as golf tournaments to help raise funds for the chamber. So that's maybe how we're a little bit similar from other chambers of commerce. Other things that we do from an economic development perspective, as well as some strategic partnerships that we have. We've recently formed the South Valley Visitor Alliance. This is really an opportunity for us to capture the visitor economy. Down here in the south end of the valley, we have some unique opportunities with sports tournaments and other business conventions related opportunities. A lot of those would center around the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy, but the expansion and those that stay at the hotels would expand to all hotels throughout the south end of the valley. We are also we have a real shortage of field space throughout Salt Lake County for sports-related tournaments. So looking at opportunities in cities that have land available to look at opportunities to build sports-related venues and arenas to help facilitate some of those opportunities. We have a unique partnership with the SBA here locally, and we help plan their National Small Business Week every year. This is an opportunity for us to conduct shop local campaigns, as well as help educate the business community about the resources that are available. We also have a unique partnership with Silicon Slopes, where we are a Silicon Slopes chapter. We host quarterly town hall meetings as well as monthly industry breakfasts. And this is an opportunity for us to bring the business community and the tech community together. Now, what really sets us apart from most chambers of commerce is what we've instituted just recently, and that's our Business Institute. As I came into this role 3 years ago, I started to go out and meet with a lot of small business owners, and I quickly realized that a lot of people have started businesses without all of the knowledge and education to actually run and be really effective at that business. Usually they're a technician in the business, or they were good at one or a couple parts of the business. And in Utah, we have a very entrepreneurial spirit, and we want to be our own bosses. And so they start their own businesses, and as they start to grow, they recognize that maybe they don't have the same training and education to know how to manage people, or how to manage their finances, or how to even read their financial statements or prepare financial statements. But they've achieved some great level of success with their company. And what we saw that if we could help them just with a little bit of education and training, they can achieve really great results. We don't carry that expertise, and so we started to look around and look for programs that might be able to help educate our small business community. There's also a lot of attention around startups and entrepreneurs, but not as much attention for existing businesses as far as resources go. So we think a chamber of commerce should fill that void. So this is our Business Institute. These are the current offerings that we offer. And what we do a little bit differently here is most of these courses are 3 to 4 week courses. So it's not just come to a business convention for half an afternoon. Hopefully you walk away with some good tidbits that you're going to implement. But this is something where you come to a course, you learn some things, you go back to your business, you try and implement those things, and you have an opportunity to come back to the class and say, look, I tried this or I tried that and this didn't work, and get some help so that you can implement those things properly. So most of our courses here are 3 to 4 week courses, and we partner with experts in the industries to be able to teach those courses. But our main course is our Business Accelerator Academy that you'll see there at the top. And what we were looking for as we started to look for some curriculum was something that was really going to move the needle for business owners. So we want to be able to track and say, after you go through this course, what does your revenue looks like? Are you creating jobs? Are you opening second locations and those kinds of things? So we looked across the country for a curriculum, and we came across an organization out in Boston that had implemented a curriculum back in 2004. They've trained now over 6,000 companies in this curriculum and in this program, and have seen some tremendous results with it. And this curriculum came with a cost, so we were able to approach KeyBank and get a $120,000 grant to implement the program. And therefore, it's named the KeyBank Business Accelerator Academy. But there's a few requirements for businesses to be able to participate in it. They have to be at 150 in annual revenues, 1 full-time employee besides themselves, and have been in business for 3 years. This is a 26-week course. It's taught every other week, so they're in class for 13 weeks of those 26 weeks. It's a half-a-day course taught on Tuesday mornings. The weeks that they aren't in class, they meet with the CEO mentor groups, so they form a peer group within the cohort, which has proven to be a very powerful thing for them. It's lonely at the top, as many of them say. So here's an opportunity for them to get together with other peers and talk about the struggles that their business might be facing and share best practices. We are into our 4th cohort of this program, And here's a list of some of the companies that have participated. And as you look through that list, you'll see a variety of different businesses all across really the Wasatch Front. This program has attracted businesses from Utah County and up into Davis County, and even from Heber City. We've had a couple of businesses participate in this program. Now to share with you a couple of the results that really got us interested in this program. So by year 3, most businesses are seeing about a 48% increase in their annual revenues. They're creating jobs 11 times faster than companies of their similar size that haven't participated in this program. These are national statistics. We have our first year results in from our first cohort, and our first group saw a 29% increase in their revenues after 1 year. A normal small business is growing by about 9% annually. So this is a great statistic, and it's producing some really amazing results. The 11 companies that reported back their results to us that first year created 26 jobs, and were able to secure $547,000 of financing. And we just recently heard that one of our first-year graduates was able to secure a $5 million government contract. So that's part of the course as well, is to open their eyes and opportunities that are available through other types of contracting. So some tremendous results here, and this is exactly what we were looking for, is something as a Chamber of Commerce so that we could come back to cities, to our investors, to our members, and say, look, this is what we're doing to help you to actually grow your business and expand your business. About 50% of businesses go out of business by year 5. And that's a statistic that we want to work to change. It's hard in a city where you're seeing smaller businesses come into a strip mall, they're there for a year or two, and then go out. We need to be able to help retain these businesses and strengthen these businesses and help them to grow. So this is something that really sets us apart from most of the chambers of commerce throughout Salt Lake County and really throughout the state for that matter. Just to give you a little idea of the impact that we had in 2018, we held over 50 events, 3,000 plus attendees. We trained over 200 individuals through our Business Institute training, and 40 companies in 2018 went through our KeyBank Business Accelerator Academy. The other areas that we work on are economic development opportunities. So we talked a little bit about our visitor economy. We work on advocacy opportunities, and really down here in the south end of the valley, as we think about businesses coming together to talk about transportation issues, infrastructure issues, growth issues, when we join together, much as you guys have with the mayors and cities throughout the Southwest, part of Salt Lake County, we can bring a louder voice and a stronger voice to those issues. And in the end, what we hope is additional funding and infrastructure and attention being paid to the needs and concerns that we have in this end of the valley. So we act as a mouthpiece to bring together business and government to be able to achieve the goals that we all are trying to accomplish together. So our proposal, as we've met with different cities and different cities councils, is that we come together as cities and we come together as chambers of commerce to be able to pool our resources together instead of divide our resources, and to be able to achieve greater results in helping our existing business communities to grow and to flourish. Currently, like I said, we have contracts with Sandy, Riverton, and Draper City, and we've made a presentation to Bluffdale, now here to Harriman, and we will meet with Cottonwood Heights in November. We've also made some initial presentations to South Jordan. But what we would hope in the end that we would be able to all come together, all these cities down here in the south end of the valley, to be able to help our business community to thrive. Be happy to take any questions that you might have.
So in this proposal to bring everyone together, obviously there's strength in numbers. What is it particularly that you're looking from the city in terms of support? Should we, obviously agree to join those forces?
Yeah, so we would look for some financial support from the city, of course, to support our efforts, but really we're looking for a partnership with the city. So where we're most effective is when we can come in and say, what are the needs of Harriman City? What are the businesses going through? What are the growth developments that are going to happen? And how can we, as a Chamber of Commerce, support those efforts? So for instance, the Point of the Mountain is a good discussion. That forum that was created came out of our partnership with Draper City, talking about the Point of the Mountain development and the prison relocation. What do we need how do we need to rally the business community around those kinds of issues? So we would look for a partnership to say, how can we come together to achieve both the goals of the city as well as the goals of the business community and bring those into alignment? Okay.
I don't have any questions for you. Greg and I met several weeks ago and talked about a lot of the details, really stemming from the Southwest Mayor's Coalition that we're doing our study. We had a great conversation, really, as a business owner and being part of several chambers of commerce in the past, whether it's for myself or representing other businesses. That's kind of what I've noticed over the years is a lot of them, there's a lot of cheerleading and a lot of kind of media events and networking. There's several that kind of fell into, I call it the lunch club. The same people coming to the same networking event over and over and over didn't really help us expand our business. So that was my kind of first question for him, was what makes you different? And I think those things that you listed make a lot of sense. The biggest one to me, as we've gotten involved in some regional efforts, partnering with our sister cities in the region area, there's so many different decision-making bodies that I didn't realize before I sat up here a few years ago, that determine where transportation funding goes, infrastructure, economic development money. And for us to try to represent ourselves individually in all of those is a big ask, whether it's the 5 people sitting here, our staff, et cetera. So as we've kind of joined forces with some of our sister cities, just this last 18 months or so, with some of those efforts have started to pay big dividends and turned heads. So I really like the idea of this being another tool, not only to help our local businesses, but to help everyone in the region and bring those resources to bear, which really kind of lifts all boats, so to speak. So thank you very much, Greg. And I don't know if anybody has any other questions, but I'll definitely be getting in touch with you and talk some more.
Great.
I do have another follow-up question. Obviously, Harriman City doesn't have its own designated chamber of commerce, but certainly businesses in the area belong to what I believe is the Southwest Valley Chamber of Commerce. So can you tell me about, I guess, what discussions have taken place with that group there, if there are any agreements pending with that group?
Yeah, that's a great question. And in fact, this is how we approached the situation was from the beginning, was to meet with all of the different chambers of commerce and to talk to them about, is there a way that we could do this a little bit differently? And while we had several follow-up conversations and several good conversations, in the end, everybody wanted to continue to operate independently. And then what we started to see was we actually started to get some calls from cities saying, well, we want to bring this business accelerator to our community. How do we get our businesses involved in it? And that's how sort of this trajectory came into play, is then we started meeting with city representatives who said, we'd like to figure out how do we bring these resources to our community. So we would still, in an ideal scenario, we think it would make the most sense if we merged together as chambers of commerce throughout the south end of the valley.
So at this point, Southwest wants to continue operating. Oh, okay.
Correct. And even in Draper, the Draper Chamber of Commerce still operates.
Yeah.
So we continue to have conversations with them. We would, this has happened in other cities. West Jordan City pulled their funding from the West Jordan Chamber and gave it to Chamber West, and those two chambers still operate within that city. Now, it's not an ideal scenario, but definitely we want to do what's in the best interest of the business community, and that's why we're moving forward in this direction. We think it makes more sense. Lots of businesses are, having to pay dues at several different chambers, and that duplicity just doesn't make sense, I think, in today's environment.
And that was actually going to be my next question to you. So, as it currently stands, a business in Harriman City, should we decide to enter into a partnership, would have to, 1, choose to participate in one or the other, or 2, potentially pay membership dues to both.
Sure.
Okay.
And that's sort of the position that lots of businesses have been in as well, whether small or large. And that's why we just sort of are challenging the current structure of chambers of commerce throughout the county and look to some of our other counties to see, how they've done it. Davis County kind of came together when Legacy Highway was being built, and that's what sort of brought the business community together, and then they all merged together to form the Davis County Chamber. That's why it's sort of relevant for us down here at the south end of the valley to come together around the issues of growth that bring us together.
So I do think it's confusing to have multiple chambers and you've given the example. Do you plan on continuing those conversations with the Southwest Chamber in the hopes that you can merge together? I don't know how long they've been in business, but it's a fair bit of time. I would say probably, I don't know, Do you know? You probably know.
I don't know how
have they-
long they've been in business. I mean, the Sandy Chamber's been around for more than 40 years.
Sure.
So I'm sure that they've been around for a long time. We will definitely continue those conversations. We think that it's in the businesses, in the best interest of the business community if we all come together in an amicable way. Now, there are some difficult conversations that have to happen there, and I would like to point out that this isn't a criticism of any one chamber of commerce. It's a criticism of sort of the structure of chambers. I think we're asking some of these chamber presidents to achieve a lot on very limited budgets and with very limited resources. I have a team of 5, and we're stretched thin. And some of these other chambers of commerce are either part-time employees or one full-time employee, and it's a lot that we're asking of them. And I don't know that we can really expect them to achieve the kind of results that we need with the resources they've been given.
And just another thought as you're moving forward, there is a definite distinction between your east side cities and your west side cities and what those needs are. And you in your map have balanced out both. So my caution is that as a growing community, it is just very, very different, as you well know, from your more well-established east side communities. And so were you to come together, I would hope that there was very special attention paid to the differing needs of those on the southwest and in Harriman in particular. We don't have the traffic corridor, the I-15 of your east side. And in fact, we have or will have a lot of small businesses just by the challenges of our geography and the inability to attract some of the businesses that you would see on the east side that would come so easily. And so again, just they're different animals.
Yeah.
And I know you're sensitive to that. At least I hope you're sensitive to that. And obviously, you and I have had conversations in the past, and I've seen what you've done. And frankly, you've taken a well established organization and really turned it on its head. And so it's interesting to see what you've done with that. So that's just my one cautionary tale, is that the Southwest is very, very different than the east side that you're very familiar with and the successes there.
One of the things that we've talked about a lot is how to be really effective regionally, but also hyper-local.
Yes.
And there are different needs. And I think the programming that we offer in many cases may be even more beneficial for your businesses out here in Harriman than could be, say, for some of the businesses in Sandy.
And one thing I would say too is there's also a mentoring opportunity between cities. So when I was working for Sandy City, learning some of their lessons learned and then bringing them back when I was wearing the city council hat was very beneficial. I mean, I've always likened cities to sort of going through almost like a growth like we would as adults. So, we are in our teen years, and there's things to be learned from those that are in their adult years, lessons to be learned both of failures and successes. So where you can facilitate conversations of those of us that are trying to grow into a successful city, and what they learn from those also. Just helpful conversations that can be had, mentoring type of conversations.
And I think that there's a lot of power in us being able to convene those groups together and have those kinds of conversations.
Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one last comment on kind of the competition issue with existing chambers. Sometimes with innovation and new ideas, there's resistance to that change, et cetera. I would hope that, especially in business, when innovation comes, you look for ways to partner together. When it comes to existing chambers, I would hope those are the kind of conversations that are happening, is how your resources can help them and vice versa. To Nicole's point, I mean, with a larger organization, you may have more resources and a larger reach in some areas, but maybe less ability to focus on some of those, minute local needs that the local chambers have. I think over time, if there's a partnership there, that those things will naturally kind of merge and work together.
Agreed.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you.
Always appreciate it. Right, we will move on to item 8.6, which is a resolution appointing Jared Henderson as Harriman City Representative to the Unified Fire Authority Board and the Unified Fire Service Area Board of Trustees.
Can I just make one quick comment? Just as we look to this conversation, I would love to, if we could, reach out to the Southwest Chamber and give them the opportunity to come and speak to us as well. Speak to kind of their past efforts and acknowledge the good efforts that they've done to this point, and also get their take on some of these issues as well. I think that helps us to fully vet this before we throw our support one way or the other.
Nothing says it has to be one or the other.
No, true. But an understanding of their thoughts on, and the initiatives that they're championing is also helpful as well. No, I think the same forum is nice. I would make a request that we invite the Southwest Valley Chamber to come and join us in this meeting so that we have a similar type audience and we can talk similar type economic development issues.
All right, now we will move on to item 8.6.
Okay. So, Mayor and Council, I had to go back in history, not too far, just about 8 months. Nicole had a conversation with me concerned about a succession plan, her leaving Unified Fire Board and that critical board of the city, and a timeliness. We talked in August about talking about boards and things, and last council meeting, I brought this to the council, and her desire was try to step away so you can try and mentor them into the next person being in that chair. Nicole wasn't here at that time, so we did move forward on getting the selection, and that's what this name is for you now.
If there's any
That's
discussion.
Jared Henderson, so you can prove the.
Well, for those that don't know, District 4 and District 1 are the ones that are up for election this year, and Nicole is the smart one who's decided to pursue other things. And I'm the dumb one sticking around to do more work, so. But it's important. These boards, I mean, this is one thing that I was not aware of when I first ran for office 4 years ago, that there were so many of these boards that we represent the city on so many important issues. So, and this is one of those extremely important ones that there's this, I recognize there's a very steep learning curve and there are some big decisions coming up that we need to get on board with. So it's a few months earlier than we traditionally do, but it's credit to Nicole for recognizing that and bringing it to our attention to get hopefully a head start on that learning curve.
Okay, if there's no more comment, I will accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R34-2019, appointing Jared Henderson as the Harriman City Representative to the Unified Fire Authority Board and the Unified Fire Service Area Board of Trustees.
I'll second.
Motion a second. Nicole?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
I vote yes, that motion passes. If the council permit me a moment, I just would like to just address the youth that are in our audience today and express appreciation for you being here today. We, as a council, are aware that it is a school night, and so if there does come a point that you need to leave, please don't feel that we will be offended if you need to go home and get some sleep, which I know you won't do anyways because you'll stay up and do your papers. But feel free at this point if you would like to leave. We're not going to be offended. Also, if I know from time to time our wonderful teachers give extra credit for taking a photo with an elected official. You happen to have your board member for the school board here sitting in the back, Mr. Darrell Robinson. He is a school board member for this area, so if you get that kind of extra credit, I'd suggest you grab him on your way out and get a picture so you can get that extra credit.
I have to say I disagree. If we have to stay to the end, you guys have to stay to the end.
I was gonna say it's a work night for me. Can I go?
And we do more than just take pictures. Like the work is at the end here.
Wow.
This is the important part that you should see. You shouldn't tell them to leave now.
And obviously the assignment's due tomorrow.
Due tomorrow. Mostly I wanted to throw Darrell under the bus.
That is
We dismissed
procrastination
him right
at its
before the
best right
public
there.
hearing.
What's the council meeting? I told them they could stay. Clear that they wanted to. All right, with that,
That's one way to clear a room.
we will move on to item 9.1, public hearing regarding the Harriman Springs Developers LLC annexation petition. Jackie, our recorder of the year.
And just all around a good gal.
Well, thank you for clearing the room right before the public hearing. So I do have a map, just kind of orienting everybody that's left on where this annexation is located. It's on Majestic View Lane up in the Cove. This annexation petition was filed by Harriman Spring Developers, and it's about 3/4 of an acre that will bring in some roadway and then a little sliver of private property as well. Do you guys have any questions for me about the annexation? Tonight, we're just asking to have the public hearing, and then we will look for accepting the annexation petition at the next meeting, and we will have it filed, if approved, by the end of October to be effective January 1. Awesome. Thank you.
Is the applicant here and for that particular item? Okay. We will now go ahead and open up the public hearing portion of our meeting. Please be aware that the same rules as earlier will apply. You'll have 2 minutes to speak. Please provide your name and give us your comment, and we will open that at this time. All right, seeing none, I will accept a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing on the annexation petition.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. With that, we will move on to our consent agenda.
I'll motion to approve our consent agenda as written.
A second.
Okay, motion a second. Clint?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, that motion passes. Item 11.1, discussion and consideration of a resolution approving the Game Point Development Agreement. Our City Attorney, John Brams.
This has been before you. I made the presentation in a work meeting. It's now up to you to make action.
Any discussion by the council?
Right now, are we going to have the applicant?
Is the applicant here, like to make any comments?
Thank you, Aaron Osmond, the applicant for this project. I just want to start off by thanking both the staff and team here at Harriman for all their support through this process. I also want to thank the Planning Commission for the recommendation for approval, and just super excited to get this project started. So if there are any questions from the council, I'm happy to take them, but I think you've had a pretty thorough overview of our project. Just leave it up to you.
And you're comfortable with all the changes that we've made over
I
time?
am. We're very excited about it.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve resolution number R35-2019, approving a development agreement for Game Point Development with the inclusion to grant an exception to the requirement of Harriman Code Section 10-12-6 that all facades, including back and side elevations, shall be constructed with a minimum of 60% brick or stone.
Second.
Motion a second. Sherry?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, that motion passes.
Quick comment, if I could. I appreciate the applicant and their work. Again, he mentioned obviously a tremendous work that has been done on account of staff to get us here today, but we've had a willing applicant too in the process. And knowing how long this idea and discussion has been really kind of tossed around for many, many years, I, for one, am very excited to see this type of attraction, this type of development coming into the city. I think it's something that will be very popular and something that I'm sure I will be frequenting often with my kids. So make sure your price points are low. But no, like you say,
Should have put that in the agreement.
yeah, no kidding.
$1 Tuesdays, right?
You know, this is obviously a different kind of development than we're used to seeing. And again, this is something that's been talked about for many years. But I think this, again, is another example of the type of product and development that you can get when you get willing participants that really are willing to sit down and work together for really the best overall product and good for our community, and just appreciate the efforts that have been put forth on both sides.
I also want to just make comment about how I appreciate the willingness to work in a timely manner on this. The council was very firm on making sure that we get these kind of developments quickly into our city, and the developer has been extremely gracious to work with us and to set a time schedule that we can have certain expectations. And we're truly looking forward to having this here. So thank you. Any other comments? All right. Our future meetings, our next meeting for the Planning Commission will be October 17th at 7 p.m. Our next City Council meeting will be on October 23rd. And we will have a joint Planning Commission City Council meeting on October 30th. Please be aware that on the 14th, we will have the Harriman How at Crane Park. It is one of our more popular events here in the city, so it'll be right outside. It's a great time. Please bring your children. We would encourage everyone to come. We also do have a Meet the Candidates night for our upcoming elections. Those will be here at City Hall on October 15th at 6 p.m. So if you'd like to come meet those candidates, listen to what they might have to say, and educate yourself on this election, please come and get to know them. Other than that, I will accept a motion to, how do we want to do this? Adjourn the regular meeting, go into our development meeting?
Yeah.
Does that work? Once again, our recorder is saving the day.
So I'll motion to adjourn our regular city council meeting and convene our Special Community Development and Renewal Agency of Harriman City meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We are now moving into our next meeting, the Special Community Development and Renewal Agency of Harriman City meeting for October 9th, 2019. First item is a motion for review and outline of the finalization process to approve the minutes of October 9th.
I will motion to have the minutes of the October 9th, 2019 be prepared and distributed to each member of the Redevelopment Agency Board. The board will have 10 days to review the minutes and submit any changes to the secretary. If after 10 days there are no changes, the minutes will stand approved. If there are changes, the process will be followed until all changes are made and the board is in agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Item 2.1, discussion and consideration of a resolution approving an interlocal cooperative agreement with the Jordan School District Board of Education and Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District. Heather Upshaw, our Economic Development Manager.
Thank you. So this is our Harriman Innovation District. We've approved 2 of our interlocals already, South Valley Sewer District and Central Utah Water Conservancy District. I can go over this again. The project expenses are for our public water, sewer, storm drain, relocation costs, cleanup, and earthwork. It's a 15-year CRA. The total revenues is 12.9. The expenses show 5.3, but that includes the administration fee, 10% set aside housing, and we're doing a mitigation payment with Jordan School District. So we receive 100% and pay them back 50%. So Jordan School District's participation is almost 3.7 million, and Jordan Valley is 340,000. Any questions?
One question that we've encountered in having some of these discussions with other entities is on the Jordan School District piece, the 100% with the 50% mitigation payments. How is that going to work?
So we did this in our last CDA as well. We receive 100% of the tax, and then I believe Alan sends the 50% back to the school district. So it's just, it's something that the school district has asked in the past, and we're able to facilitate that, so we do that.
Okay. My follow-up questions will be with the school district then.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Heather.
Any discussion by the council?
Are you on motion?
I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R2019-11, approving an interlocal cooperative agreement with the Jordan School District Board of Education and Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District.
Second.
Motion a second. Sherry?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
I vote yes, that motion passes. Accept a motion to adjourn this meeting and go into our Harriman City Safety Enforcement Area.
I'll motion to adjourn our Community Development and Renewal Agency of Harriman City and convene our Special Harriman City Safety Enforcement Area meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, I will turn the time over to the chair of this particular, that's in the other room. Okay. So we are going to go back into the other room and continue that meeting.
Have the after meeting, after meeting.
And then after that, we will go back into our work session and then a closed session.
After
meeting. So if you'd like to join us, please join us back in the other conference room.